Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are going to tackle one of the absolute best tools for making sense of the world around us, the scatter plot. I mean, have you ever looked at a list of numbers or some data and just thought, wow, that is a complete mess? Well, what if I told you there's a really simple way to see the hidden story inside all that chaos? Let's jump in. Think about your algebra class for a second. Everything is so perfect, right? You get these beautiful straight lines where every single point follows the rule exactly. But let's be honest. The real world, it's just not like that. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and things almost never follow a perfect little line. So how in the world are we supposed to find a pattern in all that noise? Well, the answer is this awesome tool, the scatter plot. And seriously, don't let the name throw you off. At the end of the day, it's just a graph with a bunch of dots on it. The real magic isn't in any one of those dots. No, the secret is to step back, look at the whole cloud of dots, and see where they're going. We're basically hunting for a pattern, a general trend that the cloud shows us. Okay, so how do we actually read these dot clouds? Well, it's all about finding that pattern, which has a fancy name, correlation. But trust me, it's way simpler than it sounds. Let's break down exactly what you should be looking for. You know, there are really only three main patterns you need to be able to spot. First up is positive correlation. That's when one thing goes up and the other thing tends to go up right along with it. Then you've got negative correlation. This is when one thing goes up, but the other tends to go down. And finally, there's no correlation, which is, you guessed it, just total chaos. No pattern to be found. I know that might sound a little bit abstract, so let's make it super clear. We're going to look at three real-world examples that perfectly show each type of correlation in action. This will make it all click.
All right, first up, let's think about the relationship between a person's height and their shoe size. I bet you already have a hunch about what this pattern is going to look like, right?
And yeah, you're probably right. If we put this data on a graph, we'd see that as height gets bigger, shoe size generally gets bigger too. The whole cloud of dots kind of drifts up and to the right. That is a classic textbook positive correlation.
Okay, example number 2. Think about a car. What do you think happens to its price as it gets older and piles on the miles? Let's try to picture what that data would look like.
You got it. As a car's age goes up, its value almost always goes down. The cloud of data points would clearly trend down and to the right. This is the perfect picture of a negative correlation. One thing goes up, the other goes down.
And for our last one, what if we compared something like a person's IQ score to their shoe size? You think there's going to be a connection there?
Right. The dots would be all over the place, like sprinkles on a countertop. There's no trend, no direction, no pattern at all. And that makes sense, because we know that how smart a person is has absolutely nothing to do with how big their feet are. This is a perfect example of no correlation. Awesome, you've totally got the basics down now. But if you really want to read data like a pro, you have to know about the common traps that people fall into. So let's level up and talk about how to think critically and avoid those mistakes. So this right here, this is one of the single most important questions in all of data and statistics. If you see two things moving together, let's say they're both going up, does that mean one is actually causing the other to happen? And the answer to that is a giant loud not necessarily. This is so important. You have to understand the difference between correlation and causation. Check out this famous example. In the summer, ice cream sales go way up, and unfortunately, shark attacks also go up. That's a positive correlation, but does eating ice cream cause shark attacks? Of course not. The real reason is a third thing you can't see on the graph. The summer heat. The heat makes more people want to buy ice cream and makes more people go swimming in the ocean. Here's another thing to watch out for. Sometimes when you're looking at a scatter plot, you'll see one or two dots that are just way off on their own, not following the pattern. We call those outliers. And the key is to not let them trick you. If you have 99 dots all trending upwards and one weirdo dot off in the corner, the trend is still positive. Your job is to spot the main story, not get distracted by the one exception. So why are we even learning this stuff? Is this just for a test? No way. This skill, this way of thinking, is incredibly valuable, and it goes way beyond the classroom, straight into your future career. For sure. Look at this real-life example from marketing. A company can plot how much money it spends on ads versus how much revenue it makes from sales. If they see a strong positive correlation, boom, they know the ads are working and they should probably spend even more. But if there's no correlation at all, that's a huge red flag that they're just throwing money away. And really, this isn't just a lesson about dots on a graph. What you're learning right now is the foundation of statistics.
Being able to look at messy, real-world data and find the actual meaningful trend, that is genuinely one of the most powerful and valuable skills you can have today in almost any job you can think of.
So we'll leave you with this idea. You now have the basic tool to look at a mess of information and actually find the hidden story inside. The world is just filled with data waiting for someone like you to make sense of it. The only question is, what hidden trend will you discover next?